My dad sent me a bill for my childhood. I was halfway through reheating my sad little Trader Joe's lasagna when I saw it. A voicemail. From my dad. We don't exactly talk. So I figured someone died. Or maybe he finally joined that desert cult he always joked about after the third beer. But no, it was worse. I hit play. His voice, calm. Too calm. Like the kind of calm before a house fire starts. "Hey, sweetheart," he said. "I've been thinking, and I realized I've supported you financially for 10 years, give or take. That's a long time, huh?" So I went over the numbers. I estimate the total comes to about $50,000. That includes birthdays, college help, car insurance, and your braces. Remember those? Anyway, I'd like that money back now. Let's work something out. Click. I just stood there, holding a plastic fork, mouth open, like I'd been punched by a ghost. $50,000. Was he serious? He even used the word restitution, like I was some kind of con artist who'd scammed her way into her own upbringing. I didn't cry. That would have been too normal. Too healthy. I laughed. Out loud. Alone. With steam rising off that radioactive pasta brick. This was the man who once lost me at a gas station in Arizona because a woman in a sundress looked spiritually curious. The man who gifted me a used iPod for my 16th birthday, preloaded with his favorite audiobooks, mostly about tax law and the Illuminati. And now at the age of 29, living in a rented studio apartment above a nail salon, I was being invoiced for my childhood. I replayed the voicemail. He sounded proud, like he thought he'd had a breakthrough, like this was a totally rational thing to do. I texted him, "Is this a joke?" He replied in exactly 42 seconds. "No joke, just fairness. You're an adult now." I stared at those words. Fairness. Coming from a man who once bet my first tooth fairy dollar on a horse named Baby's Tears. I could have ignored it, blocked him, called my therapist, but something snapped. Not the lasagna. That thing was still frozen in the center. No. Me. Because if my father wanted to play business, fine. But he forgot one tiny detail. I know everything about him. Where the bodies are buried, metaphorically. Mostly, so I did what any emotionally stable daughter would do. I opened my laptop, and I started digging. Old emails, forgotten folders, screenshots from when I helped him do his taxes that one time and he called TurboTax the deep state. There were receipts, lots of them, but not the kind he wanted. Let's just say, Dad has secrets. Big ones. One's worth way more than 50 grand. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do yet, but I knew one thing. This man was about to regret billing me for 10 years of lukewarm parenting, because I may not have inherited his love for numbers. But I did inherit his talent for revenge, and I always finish what I start, even if it starts with a voicemail and ends with a public scandal. Let me tell you a little something about my father. He always said, "Never write anything down you wouldn't want read out loud in court." Too bad he never practiced what he preached. I started with his laptop. Well, my old laptop that he kept when I moved out. He once claimed he borrowed it for work stuff. I guess work stuff now included a folder labeled, "Do not open 2017 taxes." Spoiler, I opened it. Inside, a gold mine. Fake business. Deductions. Phantom employees. A PDF titled, "Client List, Confidential." That was, let's say, not what I expected. Unless my dad suddenly became a psychic pet therapist for cash. I took notes. I took screenshots. I even took a shot of tequila. Because, wow. The man who once grounded me for stealing gas money out of his sock drawer was apparently running 5 side hustles, 3 of which were probably illegal, and one that definitely involved mail fraud. And here he was, Venmo requesting me like I was a deadbeat roommate. So I decided to balance the books. I started small. Anonymous tips to the IRS. A quiet message to his business partner, who I remembered had a tendency to unravel under pressure and Chardonnay. But that was just the appetizer. The main course? His retirement party. He'd been planning it for months. A celebration of legacy, he called it. Invitations went out to old clients, church friends, and that one woman from yoga who kept touching his arm when she laughed. It was supposed to be his night. So naturally, I RSVP'd, and I offered to make the tribute video. He was thrilled. I knew you'd come around, he said on the phone. We Belgraves always work things out. I said nothing, just smiled, which he couldn't see. But I could feel it. I spent the next week crafting a masterpiece. A 10-minute highlight reel of my father's career. Stock footage of falling dollar signs. Clips from old family videos spliced with screenshots of shady PayPal transactions and emails he never deleted. It ended with a voice recording. His voicemail to me. Word for word. I'd like that money back now. Let's work something out. Set to elevator jazz. It was beautiful. I saved it on a flash drive. Labeled it. Dad Retirement Slideshow. Final. And waited. The night of the party, I wore a wine-colored dress and a smile that could cut glass. He hugged me, called me his pride and joy. I could barely hear him over the sound of my heart, hammering like a war drum. I waded through the speeches, the applause, the mediocre shrimp cocktail. Then they dimmed the lights, and I hit play. It took about 30 seconds for the room to go silent. 1 minute in, the yoga woman dropped her wine glass. At the 3-minute mark, his business partner quietly walked out the back, door with his wife following, phone already in hand. And when it ended, my dad just stood there, face pale, hands shaking. And I stood too, clapped once, then left. No words, just silence. My inbox blew up the next morning. He texted, "How could you?" I replied, "We Belgraves always work things out." No emoji, because this wasn't a joke. This was restitution, and I was just getting started. After the party, my phone didn't stop buzzing. Texts from family, emails from people I hadn't heard from in years. A voice message from Aunt Carol that just said, "What the hell did you do?" It was glorious. The video went viral, thanks to a tech-savvy cousin who thought it was performance art. Someone posted it on TikTok with the caption, "Girl gets billed for her childhood, sends invoice back." 3 million views. And counting. But I wasn't done yet. Because vengeance, like taxes, comes in layers. And interest, with penalties for arrogance. My father tried to do damage control. He posted a long, rambling Facebook status that started with "To all those who know the real me," and ended with him blaming cancel culture. Nobody bought it. His business partner officially cut ties. His accountant ghosted him. And a very curious IRS agent named Denise requested a friendly meeting. But me? I was thriving. see what my dad didn't realize when he sent that voicemail was that he gave me permission. Permission to stop pretending. Pretending he'd been a decent parent. Pretending his weird lectures about self-reliance weren't just a cover for being lazy and selfish. Pretending I owed him something just because he occasionally remembered my birthday and once helped me fill out a FAFSA form. Incorrectly, by the way. So I embraced the villain role he assigned. I started a podcast episode 1, The Bill, when your dad sends you an invoice for existing. It blew up. I got sponsorships, emails from people saying they'd gotten similar messages from parents, exes, even former landlords. Apparently, emotional extortion is trending. I leaned in, wrote an op-ed, got interviewed on morning TV, wore a red blazer and smiled sweetly as I said, yes, he really did send me an invoice for 10 years of parenting. I guess love has a price now. They played the voicemail on air. My dad naturally freaked. He called, begged me to stop, said he was being harassed, that people were showing up to his office. I said, good thing you're retiring. He said, I can't. My reputation's ruined. I said, then you shouldn't have itemized my childhood. And hung up. A week later, he tried to sue me. Defamation, he claimed. Which was ironic, since I had receipts. Literally. The case got thrown out in under 15 minutes. Apparently, courts don't look kindly on men who try to charge their children for orthodontics from 2007. But here's the best part. One of my podcast listeners, a lawyer, divorced, sharp, hilarious. She offered to help me for free, said my story hit close to home. Now she's my friend and co-host. We're planning a tour. My dad? He finally stopped calling. Last I heard, he moved to Florida, started going by his middle name. Probably trying to sell supplements to retirees or running for HOA president. Good for him. As for me, I paid him back every single dollar, 50,001. The $1, just to be petty. I mailed it in pennies, taped to a note that said, restitution complete. Please see attached interest. No return address. Just closure. Because sometimes revenge isn't loud. Sometimes it's well lit, professionally edited, and comes with ad revenue. So here's to the daughters who got billed, the sons who got invoices, and the kids who grew up thinking love came with terms and conditions. You don't owe them a damn thing, except maybe a little public accountability. Interest included.